Hello, good morning. It's good to be back here. I mean, this is QTV This Morning. I am Ibrahim Balde, and Ade is just peeping on his phone. Yeah, so I don't know who's sending you a message there. Yeah, so
they can zoom in and see the newspapers.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, so we are back, and of course, this is the Thursday edition. But this week, I mean, goes by very quick this time. I don't know why. I was telling Mam Nabu yesterday, is it Wednesday today? Mam Nabu, did you feel that? Did you feel the vibes of, I mean, the week going so fast?
I guess when things are productive, it does feel like that. It goes by very, very fast.
Yeah, when you ask other people in other situations, they will tell you the week is very slow. Yes, yeah. Mr. Ade.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes it's like that. If you're fully occupied, you don't, you blink.
It goes by like this.
And the time. I mean, yesterday, for example, I was so busy that at one point, one of the interns came and said, "Oh, I want to go for lunch." And I said, "Lunch already?" And it was already 3:15. So I really had no idea of the time at all, which was, as I said, when you're occupied or preoccupied, that can happen.
Yeah, you know the type of thing that you do, Mr. Ade. I mean, you're always on your computer typing, maybe listening to things.
I did the morning show. I had to put the script together for the African News Roundup. I had to edit the stories that were coming in. I had to get footage for people. So lots and lots of things.
I was wondering who did that. It was you, the African News Roundup?
Yes, I've done it the last couple of days. Yeah.
A lot of things. Yeah, so we are back, and we'll take a look at the African Coup Den, the newspaper with Mr. Ridrame. And we also have the 45th anniversary of Gambia's 1981 coup. What lessons did we learn from it? This would be very interesting.
Could be.
Because I had a couple of sessions with my dad, and he's been telling me, how the coup turned out to be, I mean, during those days. In fact, there was a message that was even sent to Basse, claiming that my dad passed. I mean, can you imagine? Wow. May it be very far. So his father was devastated, and, there was no communication. Then when you call someone, they'll have to look for the person, almost the whole day and tell the person, come and wait for your call at Gamtel.
I was going to say, people now, because of mobile phones, we don't appreciate how things were back in the day. Yes. So as you rightly say, you had to go, I remember when, for example, if you wanted to make a call overseas, there was only one office in Freetown that you could go to make that call. It's not like you could sit at your home, even with your home phone, and make a call. I mean, never mind mobile phones, And so everybody, you'd go there, they'd give you an appointed time, and you'd hope that the person you were calling in London or in America or wherever was home. Because you queued up, and you went into a cubicle, and you made the call. And so it would have been something similar back then.
So, I mean, they used to even record cassettes, audio cassettes, and send it. Right. When they send those audio cassettes, then the other person will listen to the message and also record and send that cassette too.
And we're talking about the 1981 coup. In many of the coups that were in Africa in the early 60s and early 70s, the coup makers, that's what they also did. They would record cassette to be played on radio. And in fact, in one particular coup in Sierra Leone, coup attempt, that was what ended up with those people being hanged. Because you can deny everything, but you can't deny your voice recording saying we have taken over and we have arrested the president when you haven't. and that's what hanged that person. I mean, people were saying he's innocent, he's innocent. When they played it, everybody went quiet.
So
that's so terrifying. The thing about the phones, I'm just thinking if like communication gets lost in between, like you were saying about your dad, like
wow. So I mean, then things were much difficult, communication, but it was more value then. You understand?
I mean,
how
we take it for granted now.
Yes, how telecenters were operating. You go pay $1,
right.
And you make a call for 5 minutes. Then it will cut off.
It cuts off.
They call you again.
That's right.
You pay again. So even the telephone booths, we used to have them here.
Booths,
So now things are easy. you know, we have them everywhere, but life becomes more difficult now. I don't know the reason behind that, Mr.
Like when I went to London recently and I saw all these, I think the telephone boxes, I think they just keep them as artifacts because everybody has a mobile phone now. And so I passed, the last time I was in London for over a month, I never saw anybody use a telephone booth out on the street. And yet they're there and they're cleaned every day and they look nice, spick and span. Nobody's using them. But I think they just keep them because, you know, it's a kind of a relic of days gone by.
So from there, we'll TED Fund, I mean, Pledgeathon, yeah. So we'll also be talking to Sidia Jammeh, Finance Director, TED Fund, and Kumbel Good, Director, Infrastructure and Strategic Partnership at TED Fund.
They have a big event coming this weekend on QTV. We want people to tune in and watch and say, wow. Yeah, so look forward to that.
It's going to change so many lives.
Yes.
So we need to be part of it.
Inshallah.
The crocodile does not give birth to a lizard, but they all look alike. They have four limbs.
They're all reptiles.
They are all reptiles. Yeah. They all lay eggs. You know, they have similar characteristics.
But they're not the same.
But they're not.
The other one is a wild animal, a reptile. The other one is calm.
Yes. So
I think it just says that people or even things are exactly what their origin is. You know, so it's like they have similar characteristics, but they are not the same at the end of the day. And it could be applied to a lot of things because the outcome of what you are is usually exactly what you invest in yourself. I think I would look at it like that.
It reminds me when my first day in grade 10 during my high school, you know, I don't know, for some reason I looked at a boy and I didn't like him.
Just like that?
Yes, just like that. I didn't like that boy.
You were that kind of person?
Yes, totally. I didn't like him. Okay. Because what happened is, I came the other day when they enrolled me. I did my orientation and they took me to the class. I took a position where I should sit as a student.
Yep.
So the following day when I came, that guy was sitting there.
That's always how it starts.
And I asked him.
Well, that one you have reason. Carry on.
I said to him, guy, look, dude, I was here. This is my position. He didn't even look at me. So I hated him. I just hated him. You know what happened at the end? He turned out to be my best friend. Yes, he is my best friend. That's Dr. Mustafa Jinjai. He's now in the US, and he's my big brother. Like we are family now, you know. So he turned out to be my best friend. I go to his house, spend the weekend. He comes to my home. We do weekends together. But I said to him the other day, boy, you know, I hated you so much during our school days.
Now you've told us a lovely story. Yeah. What's it got to do with our proverb? Related to this.
Sometimes. You can look at an individual and you judge the person. You know, I judged him. I looked at him, I looked at his physiques, I looked at the way he appears, and I think, okay, this is not a guy that I will like. You understand? So sometimes it's not the way it is. You need to engage the person to know actually what this person is. So we've met people on different circumstances, but after engaging them, you realize these people are not what we thought of them.
I mean, this one kind of speaks to the fact that sometimes people say that how somebody turns out is as a result of their upbringing. If you teach them good manners at home, when they go out, they will display those good manners. And if you teach them bad manners, sometimes that one is true, but it can fall down where you could have lovely parents and your child ends up being a serial killer.
True.
You didn't teach that child to be a serial, because people have their own characteristics and their own personality. But to a large extent, you know, what you put in is what you get out. Exactly. So if you give them good manners, you teach them discipline, you teach them about honesty, they will grow up to be honest people.
I was gonna say what he was talking about just now, because a lot of people don't talk about self-discipline enough. Your parents or people around you can pour everything they want into you, but at the end of the day, you also have to invest in yourself. Like, you have to teach yourself certain things, discipline yourself, because when you go out there, they don't get to control how you act and how you do certain things. So you also have a responsibility in that sense.
Because there are many times, I mean, growing up, when friends of mine will get into serious trouble, and you'd hear the parents say, "But my Ibrahima is not like that."
He cannot do that.
Parents, you don't know your children once they leave the house.
So
It
it reminds me of a conversation I had with a boy, one guy. He said to me, "Boy, when I was leaving home, I said to Mom, I'm going out." And Mom said, "You have to be careful, because these people now, they are not people that you can trust." He said to me, "My mom doesn't know I am those people."
I am the one, exactly. I'm the one that they should not trust.
In fact, my mom doesn't know I am those people.
And that's the truth.
Yeah, so...
Because recently I've been watching lots and lots of these crime documentaries, and you'll hear people who are the parents of somebody who's committed a heinous crime, killed 3 or 4 people. My son is not like that. No, your son is like that. We didn't bring him up like that. As Mam Nabu says, it's the person has to take on those things about self-discipline, about control and so on. There's only so much that your parents can teach you or inculcate or imbibe, whatever, in you. You have to own it, take it on, and be, because it's your life. Once they are out of your life, you have to then go forward and take it.
It's also important to teach children how to take accountability, because a lot of the times when they do these things, you will hear people say, "Oh, yeah, I'm Yaruko, Papa, I'm Yaruko." The parents didn't discipline the kid. So sometimes you also have to make these kids take accountability and know that, oh, I have a responsibility to not do this and this and this and that.
I once got into trouble when I was at the BBC. I once got into trouble for a statement like that. We were discussing a thing about juvenile crime statistics. And I just said, when it's over, when the report was over, as a joke, I said, "I blame the parents." That's all I said. Hey! As soon as the program finished, my manager called.
Oh my God.
"We don't want people giving their personal opinion." I said, "Listen, anybody listening and watching knew it was a joke. I'm not saying that, I blame parents, but it was a joke."
Yeah.
It's the kind of thing that people say in a joke. He said, no, people will think it's the BBC expressing an opinion. I seriously got into trouble for that. It's like, what?
Yeah. So you see, people are
A
very
throwaway
careful.
comment,
People are very careful on certain comments. So I know that's what happened there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So are we taking a break, Mr. Director?
Before the newspaper review?
We take a short break. Yes, let's take a short break. And after the break, then we head to the newspapers. We'll be back.
Network with the cheapest tariff in the Gambia, and enjoy crystal clear calls and super fast internet at the cheapest tariff, only with QCell. Rush now and grab your free QCell SIM card today from any of our care centers near you. QCell, the biggest network with the cheapest tariff. QCell Senior Boss. We innovate, others follow. In December 2026, Gambians head to the polls to choose a president, and history may hang in the balance. As the day draws near, every week, right up to Decision Day, QTV will lead the political conversation. And nobody breaks it down like QTV. Our team of experts will help you understand the results as QTV brings you Decision 2026, a weekly program dissecting the issues, driving the debate, and giving Gambians a front row seat to the hottest topics for the defining election of our time. Hear differing views, put forward and challenged, manifestos dissected and explained. Stay informed, stay engaged. Stay tuned to QTV for everything you need to know about this year's election. Decision 2026, Thursdays at 9 p.m. Only on QTV.
Welcome back. This is QTV This Morning. I am Ibrahim Balde. Now let's head to the papers. We have the Standard newspaper. U.S. shuts down visa service in Banjul. That's really a very, shocking one for people who want to apply for visas to the United States of America.
The U.S. are only the most recent ones to do it. I think people living in Gambia know that for many other countries for a long time, you had to go to Dakar, mainly, to get your visa, which was kind of a it's an added cost. You have the fee for the visa, you have your travel fee, possibly accommodation. It's a nightmare, it's a headache. I'm not sure why they need to do it in a kind of electronic age that we are now. They could easily host it here. And what's ironic is that China, which used to send us to Dakar, now they do it here. So it's part of the whole Trump administration sort of cutting down on various services, only keeping what they consider to be essential services in various countries. We live here and we think, for them Gambia's so small that they couldn't even find it on the map. And so for them it's like, what? Gambia, a country of how many? Okay, that one. Where's the nearest place? Oh, Dakar. Yeah, let them go to Dakar. So they don't consider those things that we're talking about, the transportation, the costs and so on, accommodation, if you have to go there and wait. As far as they're concerned, they're cutting costs. It means employing fewer people here. And then, yeah.
I'm glad you made, because my next question is going to go to that we've been doing it here for years. People have been applying for visas here. So why now? I guess that makes sense.
It's part of, they've closed down Freetown in Sierra Leone. They've closed the one there. Or, well, I wouldn't say closed down. They haven't had anybody there for several months, which people think is leading to it going to be shut down. So go to Liberia next door at the moment if you want to get your visa. And that's, it's part of a pattern. And we're just the latest victims of it. But when they do those things, they don't think of the cost to us. In fact, they don't care about the cost to us.
Yeah, so we have to also consider the impact this is going to cause to students and those that need urgent visas to the United States.
Anybody. You now have to, I'm assuming it's Dakar. I haven't read the story in full, but I would assume that as with other countries where we've had to go to Dakar for that, they're just the latest one where.
And we also want to hear what the government is going to respond towards this.
What can they do?
Yeah, at least a press release, maybe an acceptance of close-up, probably.
They're not. Well, they still have an office. They still have an embassy here. It's only the visa part of it.
The office are as good as the visa application. I mean, if they are not issuing visas here.
No, Americans, they keep embassies in every country as much as they can, because apart from anything else, they have to have somewhere for their spies to work. If they're living in a particular country, they can't just come and live here as ordinary citizens. They can be employed at the embassy whilst they're being spies. So you have to have that. I mean, this is not secret. You have people who are, CIA operatives. If you go to the CIA website now, you'll find all the documents that their people who worked in their embassies around Africa used to send about the various countries they were stationed in. Essentially, they were spying on those countries because for strategic reasons. And that's
so let's take a look at the diplomatic relations recently between the United States and the Gambia. I mean, considering all these aids have stopped, now visas are no more going to be issued here in the Gambia. So is this going to create a little issue or a little...
in terms of aid, it's not that, USAID, which is the department that used to be involved in that.
Yes.
They've significantly reduced around the world, okay? But you still have things like the Peace Corps from America. They're still coming here. So, the relationship is still on. It's not a kind of confrontational or kind of acrimonious one particularly.
I think even the visa issue, I don't think it's necessarily a diplomatic strain because it's happening in other countries as well. So, and I don't think, like you were asking a question about what the government is going to do, I don't see what much they can do because
at least they can send a press release.
Yeah, but for me that's just kind of gesture diplomacy. We regret the fact that they've now stopped service and so on.
But I think the citizens need to know. I mean,
no, the people who are stopping it are the ones who need to tell the citizens, and they've told us, and it's in the newspapers. It's the Americans
And
stopping
it's kind
it.
of like, what choice do you have anyway? If you need the visa,
It's-
you're
it's
going to
the-
have to go to the next closest place to get it because you need it.
As we've had to do when we've been trying to go to other countries.
Or maybe the government can come out and say, okay, we've asked them why, and this is their response. Maybe.
I don't think it's necessary.
Yeah. So let's move on. I mean, GDC. I mean,
Your
Talk
people.
of the town.
yeah. So, and now, I mean, Kande, Barrow, and decades of rivalry.
They contested against each other, of course, in the past. And goes back APRC at one point. You know, so they were on opposite sides of the political divide. This thing had been rumbling. There's the AI-generated image which went viral where you had his legs
Like this.
in one camp
Yes.
and in the other.
And not only that, you can
And
see at the other end the grass is greener, and here it's kind of gray.
I think you're reading more into it than
Yes.
than the AI
Yeah.
generator
Yes.
intended. They were just trying to depict that he had a foot in both camps,
Yeah.
and they didn't realize,
So
they didn't know which way he was going to
Then
jump.
the other leg happens to meet the other one at the
Yeah.
other side.
So yesterday he jumped, and he jumped on the side of NPP and His Excellency the President, and they had. I think for most people, certainly everybody in the office, if we're honest, we thought it would be a simple signing ceremony. Two men shake
quite
hands.
elaborate.
But it was this huge mini rally
it's different.
within the grounds of
So
State
this
House.
is telling you, NPP have been looking forward to having Mama Kande as part of their camp.
Yeah, and you know, if you are Mama Kande or any other party, you know, to be welcomed like that is something you're going to appreciate, because you're like, oh, you know, these people really care about us. Because you here yesterday was talking about how relevant are they, and I said, well, you know, we'll see. And the way, the reception that they were given, dignitaries were there, ministers were there, you know, lots and lots of, you know, people were there, and hundreds, if not a couple of thousand, were there. So it was a big event, and they, in my mini report, I said they welcomed him in grand style, because we weren't able to bring the thing on the news in full, but we brought it at the top of the news because it was still going on whilst the news was on. So it was a long affair. You know, people were there from before 1 o'clock and past up to 10 o'clock and whatever, they were still there.
Okay.
So, you know.
So can we talk about the switch and swap? I'm just wondering, like, does it put GDC supporters or voters in a very funny position? Like, now, do they just simply focus on GDC, or now their own thoughts on what they need to do?
Okay, so what tends to happen is that when you are the party leader and you say, I'm now, because what they said in the thing is that we will now put all our resources behind getting President Barrow re-elected. So he's now going to go back to his members and says, look, I have given this commitment, and I want you to join me on this journey to say that, because even if I'm a party member, you can't force me because it's a secret ballot. So you don't know who I'm going to drop my marble for. But what you can do is, as the party leader who has crossed over, you can convince me as to why I should follow you in terms of... But what we tend to get in Africa, I mean, we've seen it many times. We go to a town or a village and the alcalde says, all of my people will be voting for you for X, Y, or Z. And every time we've carried a report like that, it's always made me smile, because I'm like thinking, but you're not going in the booth with me. You don't know where I'm going to drop my marble. You know, so why are you making that pronouncement on my behalf? You know, but you know, you've asked a good question, because essentially it is that party leader's job now to go and convince his party that I've done this, or perhaps he's consulted his party before he took the. You would expect, yeah.
You would expect, yeah.
And then he says, okay, now nationwide, we tell all our agents, all our activists, that this is why we've done it, and this is, you know, what we want them to do. We want them to join us on this journey. So, yeah.
Yeah, so what does this mean to Gambia politics? We are looking forward to the elections December 5th.
It's another alliance. It's another coalition, if you want. And there will be many between now and December. December is a long way. You know, the cliche is a week is a long time in politics. Things can happen, things can change. You look at Britain, the same Prime Minister who led his party to a landslide election, his party effectively kicked him out less than 2 years after that victory. Quite astonishing.
If director can hear me, can he turn down the volume of my intercom? I'm being distracted. You know, I'm not hearing. Yes.
Yeah.
So let's move on. The 329 million dollars is query by the Auditor General. That's the Standard newspaper.
Yeah, I was going to run away from this because I'm not sure what this environment from contingency fund. Yeah, and so we'd need to know what it's referring to. What is the query? Is he saying that this amount is unaccounted for or not properly recorded and so on? So it's the kind of story, because of the nature of it being kind of
Sensitive.
financial thing. Yeah, you'd need to know the guts of it to know exactly. Yeah.
So fish meal factory license fee, still on the Standard newspaper.
Auditors asked Ministry to recover
Yes. So
over $6 million license fees from fish meal factories. So I presume you issue these licenses and they haven't been paid. If they haven't been paid, shut them down. You know,
absolutely.
Not rocket science. You know, give them time to pay, and if they don't pay, tell them, sorry, Mr. or Mrs. or whomever, we have to close this particular factory.
Does it take, when you issue those licenses, they don't pay on the spot?
There are some that have to be renewed.
Okay.
So for some of them, you might have to pay for the license to be issued,
Okay.
and then for the renewal, because it might be issued for 1, 2, or 3 years. Not
Okay.
every one is annual. It then needs to be chased up. But you would imagine that there's a part of a department whose job it is to chase up those. So,
So that is what it is. So the labor market improves as unemployment falls to 6.2% survey.
you know, it's one of these things where we always say, go to the facts, go to the statistics, not the, you know, you'll hear people say, oh, you know, these are actual statistics, you know, these are facts, not just impressions or somebody's opinion. That's what we always want people to rely on. So, yeah.
But it's important to know how these facts were gathered too. In the beginning, how authentic
We have a Bureau of
is the
Statistics.
process.
We have a Bureau of Statistics who are very highly regarded. They don't just throw figures out there. When you go to their website, they break it down. They tell you how the data is collected and how it's collated. So, yeah.
This number was gathered from a survey.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm. So the digital reform doubles Gambia's tax revenue to $25 billion, says the finance minister.
Yeah. It could be 50 billion if everybody who ran a business paid tax. Yeah? Because you drive along the highway, you'll see somebody running a garage repairing motors, and there are like 50 cars there. They probably don't pay one butut in tax. They're not registered as a business, and yet myself and others, we take our cars there to be repaired. And there are many of these small and medium-sized enterprises across the Gambia that don't pay tax.
Yeah.
And just
I was gonna say
imagine,
that,
just
yeah.
imagine if all of them pay tax, our tax burden would be much lighter
I'm
than
wondering
it
if
is.
they're ever going to start cracking down on that, because there's a lot of businesses out there that are not really registered.
It's always been a kind of very sensitive thing about, you know, they kind of let it go.
Yeah.
But at some point, if you want to be serious as a country, these are the things you can't just let go.
Yeah.
You know, people running businesses and not paying taxes. So now, in terms of the revenue collection, yes, as ascribing a lot of the fact that they're collecting more to the fact that it's very digital. Because if you're registered, you're there. It's shown that, okay, Mamnabu has registered a pharmacy at number 29 Kairaba Avenue or wherever. Okay, have they paid? What are they supposed to pay? It's much easier to track these things if it's done digital, rather than when you used to send people around with a book and a paper, and you give them a little something, and so that manual thing has kind of taken that away. And so as the years go on, we expect the digital revolution to bring in greater and greater, make revenue collection much better and much more efficient. As it is in many other countries, whereas in some countries it's completely digitalized. We're just getting there. We're getting closer.
Yeah, so let's move on. Halifa Sallah on the Foroyaa newspaper. Halifa Salah's new book, The Impasse, seeks to explain 2016 coalition journey.
We know what the journey is or was, because we even heard Senou Dabo the other day mention it, that we don't want to go back to the mistakes of 2016. We don't want to repeat the mistakes of 2016. So it's fresh in everybody's minds who was involved. It's only 10 years ago. And I guess the book looks at whether it comes up with solutions is another matter. Because in terms of solutions, you come back to, as we keep saying, the line in the sand, or the red line, whatever you want to call it, where one section is saying candidate-led coalition, another is saying party-led coalition. Unless you can, as they say, to mix metaphors, square that circle, unless you can make that happen, then we'll be back to square one. The book will be an interesting read to see if he's drawn lessons from it that others, so those who are involved in coalition talks might want to read the book, I suspect.
I'm still stuck on the fact the last time we were talking about this, Mr. Ade mentioned that candidate-led and party-led could mean the same thing. So every time you mention it, my mind just goes back to that.
Because we were just talking earlier about the Mama Kande situation. Essentially, GDC is Mama Kande. So in that instance, if you're saying party-led or candidate-led, you're talking about the same person, really. And that's the same in many of our parties here. The party is, the person almost embodies the party. And you don't even see them as a separate entity.
That's why the parties die with them when they leave or when they are normal.
For many of them, that is what happens. Cases, and you have to build, you build succession planning, you build a legacy, you build a national network if you want the party to survive an individual. That's what you do. But many of our parties, they're very much driven by the personality of the person who started it. And they're so conflated that you can't even tell the difference.
Let's take a look at Gambian football. I mean, Colonel Musa Jammeh launched 7 pillars plan for Gambian football. I know very soon there'll be an election for the Gambia Football Federation. And Kaba Bajo is not running again. And the likes of Kamaso, Sadibu Kamaso, an aspirant, they are now vying for that seat. So, I mean, Mr. Adedrame, there are a lot of things that happened in our football sector. So it's important for us to look at it, what needs to be improved, so that these people can know when they take over.
A lot of what is happening in the Gambia is happening in other countries. Sierra Leone is going through similar. And some of it is driven by the relative success of Cape Verde at the recent World Cup. Yes? Small country, 580,000 people. They were able to use FIFA money. They were able to harness their diaspora in reaching out to people. The minute they hear, oh, your name is Da Costa or Mendes, oh, are you Cape Verdean? Would you like to play? Roberto Pico Lopez, he's been with the team now for 15 years. They contacted him on LinkedIn. And as he himself said, he said, when they sent me the message in Portuguese, I thought it was somebody having a joke, because although his father is from Cabo Verde, he didn't know Portuguese that well. And then they sent him another message translated into English saying, it's from the Cape Verde Football Federation. We're trying to contact you. We realize that you have a father who's from Cape Verde. Would you be interested in playing for the national team? You know, he was born in Ireland. His mother is Irish. And he said yes. And as I said, 15 years later, he's still with the team, one of the stalwarts of the team. People like Rian Mendes, you know, you have people born in the Netherlands. 3 or 4 of their team were born in the Netherlands, not in Cabo Verde. So people coming up with these plans as they position, they have to be able to convince themselves that if you appoint me, I will be able to make the kind of similar transformation that the likes of Cape Verde does, that the likes of Mauritania. I mean, people don't have to take my word for it. Go on the FIFA website and see what this thing which FIFA issued in 2016, FIFA Forward. Every FA across Africa was given $11.6 million to do what you want with it. With one proviso, you have to tell us how you will spend every dollar. Yeah? For Gambia, that money sat untouched for more than 6 years.
Yeah, that's what I heard. We don't even know.
Because we couldn't convince them. Go to Mauritania, go to Cape Verde, look at the stadium they built in Cape Verde. Look at the Football Federation house they built in Cape Verde.
Because if you cannot, get share of that money, and at the end of the time you'll be accountable for that money, you'll not risk of taking it.
They had FIFA Forward 1, FIFA Forward 2 has come, which has added even more money, and it's still sitting there. Like I said, don't take Ade's word for it. Go on the FIFA website, type FIFA Forward, how have the funds been dispersed? Every country, it will tell you how much they have taken from the allocation that is being given to them. For Gambia, the majority is still sitting there, unclaimed. So people can make their 7-point, 11-point, 99-point plans. What are you going to do with the money if and when you get it? How is that going to transform Gambian football? Yeah, and a lot of it is to do with infrastructure, reach out and so on. You know, if we had wanted to use that wisely, we could have done what they did in Mauritania and Cabo Verde, built a new stadium, built a new football federation house, and then built artificial pitches across the nation. You know, Cape Verde has 9 islands. Every one of those now has a FIFA Forward Fund.
Mr. Ade Drame, thank you very much for talking to us on QTV this morning. I'm Nabu. We'll take a short break now. After the break, then we'll be talking about the 45th anniversary of the Gambia's 1981 coup. Yes, and you know, there are a lot of things that we would be able to learn, things that we know and things that we didn't know. Yes, so we'll be right back after the break.
Q Money is changing the game with mobile money payment. Now, you can pay your QCell mobile broadband plan faster, easier, and way more convenient with your Q Money wallet. Just open the Q Money app or dial *323#, select option 4 to buy or pay your broadband plan in seconds. No stress, no lines, no last-minute panic. Whether you're streaming your favorite shows, browsing the web, or working from home, stay connected without missing a beat. Stay connected the easy way with Q Money's QCell mobile broadband payments anytime, anywhere. For more information, call customer care on 133. Q Money, Sunyakalpe. Terms and conditions apply.
In today's world, speed matters, but slow internet can hold you back. Now, the future of connectivity has arrived in the Gambia. QCell's Q-Fiber, ultra-fast, ultra-reliable internet designed for the way you live. Stream your favorite shows without buffering. Power your business with seamless video calls. Study, work, and play online like never before. From homes to businesses, QCell Fiber is connecting the Gambia to the future. QCell's Q-Fiber. Get connected today. Call 145 or 300-3779. QCell. We innovate, others follow.
QCell, the fastest growing network in the Gambia, now presents to you the eSIM. QCell's eSIM allows you to electronically scan a code and join the world of digital SIM cards. Customers with physical SIMs can easily switch to the eSIM as well. So rush now and get connected with an eSIM and start using the latest mobile technology with your trusted GSM operator. For more information, call our customer care on 111. QCell, Sinubus. We innovate, others follow. Terms and conditions apply.
Welcome to the QCell 5G Gaming Hub, powered by ultra-fast 5G connectivity from QCell, the fastest network in the Gambia.
welcome back after the break. This is QTV This Morning. Now let's move on to the other segment of this program, and we have Dr. Modou Lamine Taro, CEO, National Accreditation and Quality Assurance Authority, NAQA. It's good to have you, Doctor.
Thank you for having me.
Welcome to this program.
Thank you.
Well, today it's a very important, this is going to be a very significant segment. We'll be talking about the 45th anniversary of the 1981 coup d'etat, which is a significant milestone in our nation's history as we reflect on the 45th anniversary of the 81 coup d'etat attempt in the Gambia. I mean, to help us, go through this, Doctor is here to do that for us. So, Doctor, we would like to know, where were you? And what can you tell us, before the 1981 coup d'etat?
Thank you very much, Mr. Balde. To start with, I was born and raised in the Depot Barracks, currently called Fajara Barracks. My father was a serving member of the then Field Force. He was the pay and quartermaster, what in private sector parlance you may refer to as admin and finance officer. He was among the few educated officers at the time. And the events of 1981, found me in the depot. Let me say that the 1981 political insurrection did not just emerge all of a sudden. There were early warning signs, cracks in the wall, conspicuous fault lines. Rumors were rife in the barracks at the time of an imminent attack by Gambian dissidents who had been trained in Libya. And on many occasions, the emergency tune will be sounded, and you will see the soldiers racing to the main assembly point to receive briefings from their commander. At that time, the Field Force commander was called John Cluse, the British national.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's really interesting. Yes, Mr. Adam.
I was going to say, here at QTV, of course, we have a kind of double interest. We had done a documentary about it, which is going to be shown around 6:30 today. But you've written a very insightful paper, I was saying to you before you came on air, about it. Was this sparked by the fact that your father was very much part of the thing? And you've given us some of the background into what led to it. And for those who don't know or don't remember, it was at the time when Prince Charles, now King Charles, and Diana were getting married. And so Sadada was out of the country attending that wedding.
Exactly.
And this was a kind of pattern that we've seen across other African countries. Head of state leaves.
And then the military
the military come in. But this time it wasn't the military.
Yes.
And that was a big difference.
Exactly.
A man called Kukoi Sambasanya.
Exactly.
He led them.
Yes. Now, the Supreme Council of the Revolution was led by Dominic Kukoi Sambasanya. He contested and lost the 1977 general elections. But if you look at the composition of the Supreme Council of the Revolution, you have some Field Force elements. People like Junkung Saho was a Field Force officer, Jerry Koli was a Field Force officer, Kantong Fati was a Field Force officer, and Dembo Jame. These were all Field Force officers. Now, if not for the conspirators, the Field Force conspirators, that coup attempt would not have succeeded. But let me just give the background of what actually set the stage for such a thing to happen.
Yes.
Now, on 27 October 1980, Commander Eko Mahoney, who was the deputy commander of the Field Force, was gunned down by a constable called Mustafa Danso. On that fateful Monday morning, I remember passing Mustafa Danso standing on sentry at the main entrance of the depot barracks. By the time I got to what is today called Trust Bank, it was then called Commercial and Development Bank.
Yeah,
I just had gunshots in rapid succession. Then, but I was like, well,
it's a barrack.
it's normal. I mean, because there was a sergeant who was given this instruction to be killing, stray dogs. So I thought that was what was going on. Only for me to see people running who have, scaled over the fence, and they were like, oh, they were saying in Mandinka, Afale, meaning they've killed him, something like that. Now, there was a decision taken after that incident. And what was it? The men were prohibited from carrying ammunition while on guard duty.
Okay.
You see? So that was the decision after that fatal incident. Field force officers will go on guard duty at the State House, Quadrangle, Number 1 Marina, and other installations just with an empty rifle. Now they have internal collaborators. Kukoi has internal collaborators, people who are sending, intelligence. And that is why from 1980 up to July 1981.
That's Kukoi on the screen.
There were several alarms, several alerts that people are coming to invade the barracks. Then all of a sudden you will hear the emergency tune. People will rush, men will rush to the assembly point to get briefing, and then they'll be ready. But at some point, everybody relaxed. Commander John Clues proceeded on leave on 1st of July 1981 to the United Kingdom.
Okay.
In his stead was Commander Nicol. He was the bandmaster at the time. He was the acting commander. It was during that period when this insurrection occurred. At 2 a.m., there was ominous gunfire all over the barracks. People ran helter-skelter. In fact, I fled. I did not know where my parents were until on the 6th of August when the Senegalese captured the depot barracks.
Yeah.
So we were all internally displaced.
Yeah. So before we deal with the intervention of the Senegalese military, during the coup, let's talk about how did this affect Gambia after the coup.
In fact, from looking at it from an economic perspective, the amount of looting that took place during that event was abysmal. Shops were looted. There were certain shops that never, in fact, big companies like Morel Prom, you must have heard of Morel and Prom. It was burned down to ashes, looted. Businesses were pillaged and plundered, and it took time before the Gambia regained. And there were donations actually that came during the period under the External Aid Fund that helped in a way. But in a very, very, very hard way, the economy was badly affected. Yes.
Because when we interviewed Hassoum Cissé at the museum, he was showing us pictures and he was telling us a story. He said that Morel and Prom, others, people were carrying refrigerators and washing machines and cookers and all sorts of things from these shops because order had broken down. The police were nowhere to be seen. Nobody was keeping order because for those few days, nobody knew who was in control. Yeah? And so it was anarchy, total chaos. Yeah.
So, when Sir Dawda received that information, then he was in the United Kingdom to attend the wedding.
Right.
Yes. So
Charles and Diana.
Yes, that must have been a very devastating news for Sir Dawda. How did he get into this country?
Yes. In 1965, there was a defense protocol signed between the Gambia and Senegal that in the event of an attack, Senegalese will come to the aid of the Gambia and vice versa.
Okay.
That was the defense protocol. All right. So they invoked that defense protocol of 1965, and that was what led to the Senegalese intervention. Actually, the Center of Resistance was built at the police headquarters in Banjul under the command of late Inspector General of Police Abdullah Mbub. Now there you have the then Vice President Hassan Musa Kamara and some ministers. Now they were all there. Now they received a boost from Farafenni Barracks. There was a platoon of troops that were dispatched to bolster the security at the police headquarters. At the time, there was a British commander at the Farafenni Barracks called Major Clive Lee. He was an engineer. Now he sent 23 men, to support the Inspector General of Police, and that was the center of resistance. If that place had fallen, then these people would have succeeded. That was where they were coordinating all the defensive moves and, relaying messages between Gambia and Senegal at the time.
And also it's worth remembering that Sadada was out of the country, but the rest of his family were here, including Lady Chilel. And in fact, they were kept at the MRC by the rebels, and she was forced to go on radio or they tried to force her to go on radio to make a statement, almost supporting. And she was saying that she was resisting it.
Exactly. In fact, even before being sent to the MRC, she was initially detained at the NCO's mess, that is the non-commissioned officers' mess in the barracks with the kids, right? And in that mess, there were also some field force detainees. There were some men, who were also detained, people like Usainu Nyang, people like Sergeant Samba Kante and others. They were all detained in that officers' mess, all right? So when the State House, was captured by the rebels, though it was temporary, because later on, a section of the loyalists marched onto the State House, and then they repelled the rebels. And that's why you did not hear of any looting at the State House. And that needs to be mentioned.
Okay.
So,
Yes.
so what was the aftermath like? Well, how was law and order maintained?
Yeah. Well, once there was a breakdown of command and control. And when Kukoy and his men, they fled to Guinea-Bissau, there was nobody to give direction. The Senegalese are now in charge, the loyalist forces, and then there was a wave of arrest and detention of suspects. You go to the depot, you see people arrested, detained in the hangar, all over the place. You see people, crowds. It was terrible.
Because people were, once the Senegalese were here, people were then identifying people, saying these people were with the rebels.
Yeah.
And they just started arresting people arbitrarily. And some people probably took the opportunity to settle scores with people they didn't like.
Exactly.
Because there wasn't proper procedure at all.
And also there was a register, where there are numbers. When you come and you are issued with a rifle, your regimental number and everything was indicated. So that also helped to track down those who participated.
So what can governments do now to prevent future instabilities?
Thank you very much. You see, that decision, for example, to prohibit the men from carrying ammunition whilst on guard duty, that set the stage. Because even when Kukoy and his men, they came with just, 5 hunting rifles with pistols, and they were able to overpower the guards. There was no resistance. So that decision was a major blunder. And I think going forward, those in charge of our security will pay heed to some of those kind of decisions. Because if there was resistance, because there were some loyalists. My father was a loyalist. He fought for constitutional order. And many others. The field force was about 511 men. But after the whole thing subsided, only 69 men were given a clean bill of health. Can you imagine out of 500? You have only 69 who came out clean, that they did not have a hand in this.
And you asked a pertinent question, because we're talking about 1981, because of course 13 years later, we refer to this as an abortive coup. And before Dr. Taro came on, I said it was 6 days of mayhem and madness. In 1994, of course, we had a coup that succeeded.
Yes.
So lessons learned, it's a difficult one to answer, because across West Africa now, we have countries that are led by coupists, yes? And you go back to 1966 Nigeria, for example. I remember a very famous incident when they interviewed a Captain Iziogu. BBC interviewed him, and he said, you know, we're all professional, we're all trained at Sandhurst, you know, we won't have coup d'etat in this country. 1 week later, that very man was one of the ones who led the coup d'etat that led to the killing of Abubakar Tafawa Balewa.
Yeah.
You know, they gave the impression, you know, we're a professional force, we're this, we're that, you know. And
Doctor,
yeah,
we understand, okay, there was a joint agreement between Senegal and the Gambia.
Yes.
You know, after, during the 1981 coup d'etat. But 1994 happened, and there was no intervention from Senegal. What happened? And there was a joint agreement. What happened to that agreement?
Well, you know, 1981 was a different scenario. It was different. Now, it was a ragtag, you know, civilian militia. You understand? There was no standing army at the time. The field force was just a paramilitary outfit, security outfit. Okay? Now, there was the Senegambia Confederation. By September 1999, it dissolved. You know, the way we parted company with the Senegalese was not good at all. All right? There was this request from the Gambia government, from Sadauda, for the rotation of the presidency of the Confederation, although that was not part of the, the protocol.
Okay.
But that was what happened. They pressed for it, and in the end, the Senegalese decided, you know, to withdraw without even informing the Gambia government.
Okay, okay.
That was how, you know, the gendarme had to step in, you know, to protect security at the State House.
because as Dr. Taro rightly says, in 1981 you had a field force. By 1994, that had reconstituted itself into the Gambia Armed Forces as we know it today. So it was very different. So what you had was the 94 coup was led by members of the Gambia Armed Forces. You know, Kukoi wasn't a soldier, you know, and many of those who were with him in the kind of the committee were not soldiers. Yeah? But this was the army rebelling in 1994. Very, very different to what had happened in 1981. And so the context is very different. And most of the coups we've seen in Niger, Mali, Burkina Faso, it's been the army, you know, members of the army, and even in Guinea, you know.
So what happened to Kukoi? Was he arrested?
No, Kukoi fled to Guinea-Bissau. Then from Guinea-Bissau, he was given a passport, and he and his members, they went to Cuba. Right? He was in Cuba for a very long time, and later came back. I think he was in Burkina Faso, and even later in Senegal. I think he died either in Senegal or Mali.
I heard about his death.
Yes.
Yeah, not long ago.
They were not sure about, as Doctor says, about where he died. But essentially, he kind of disappeared from the kind of political arena of the Gambia. And people always wanted to reach him. I remember at BBC, we were trying to get hold of him to interview him about the 1981. And it was always very difficult, impossible, in fact.
So should there be a national memory for the victims of the 1981 coup d'etat?
Oh, yeah. In fact, those, according to the records, between 500 to 1,000 people lost their lives. And 33 Senegalese soldiers also perished. They died, 33. So the figures, some say 500, some say 1,000. Others are of the view that it's even more than 1,000. You know, but again, the good thing was that all the loyal forces were compensated financially.
Okay.
Yes. Each member was given $5,000 at the time. $5,000 was big money. Because I remember, you know, some people bought you know, Lada. There was this car called Lada.
I know the Lada.
And Toyota Corolla.
Yes.
And R4,
Yes.
you know, for 4,500
Yeah.
at the time.
Mam Nabu, you might not know what Lada is, but I know Lada.
That's why I'm listening.
I know Lada. And
LED.
I know Renault 12.
No, Toyota Corolla.
Toyota
Yes,
Corolla,
yes. You know, so most of them, all the loyalists, they were compensated, given $5,000 each. But again, there were some men who were detained for 5, 6, 7 months, and later on they were released. But those people, up till today, they have not been paid their benefits. Okay, their pension, those who are entitled to pension and gratuity, they have not been paid. And that has still been a source of bitterness among those family members.
Oh, wow. Maybe they couldn't channel it anywhere for
At
them
the time, yes.
No, I mean, they've got people who've been speaking on their behalf and trying to represent them. Because if you hold people for that length of time and you don't charge them with anything, you know, they deserve to be compensated. And you haven't formally dismissed them. You haven't sort of, you know, struck them off the register, then, you know, they are entitled to a pension.
Yeah.
So what can we do to preserve our history so that the kids of this generation and the coming will know what
This is why I took it upon myself.
Yes.
You know, being an eyewitness, I said I must document this. And I've written extensively on this incident from the perspective of what transpired in the barracks. And this will serve as a reference material for the kids of today. So that they know, they learn exactly what happened in the past. It's very important.
Thank you, Dr. Taro.
Thank you,
exhausted, Mr. Aden.
Now,
you
just
wanted
going
to
to
say
say very
something?
quickly, I mean, if people go on Facebook, they'll see lots of Sierra Leone websites where I have written about the 1967 coup.
Okay.
I was there when it happened
Yeah.
at State House when the army moved in. I was literally there because my father was one of those inside State House waiting to be sworn in. And so I've always written about it, as he says, to keep the memory alive and let people know that this is what happened rather than all the kind of fancy stuff. Hear it from somebody who was there.
Yes, definitely. Thank you, Dr. Taro,
Thank you,
for coming.
Thank you. It's my pleasure.
I hope and pray, I mean, we will be able to preserve our history so that, you know, the younger generation will know what transpired. Now you've learned a lot more. So viewers will be right back after the break.
No lag, no limits, just pure performance. Multiple PlayStations, Xbox racing with full car wheel control, and immersive virtual reality experiences that put you inside the action. Play the biggest titles: FIFA, Call of Duty, NBA 2K, Street Fighter 6, Forza, and many more. Experience gaming like never before. The QCell 5G Gaming Center is open weekdays from 12 p.m. and weekends from 11 a.m. Closed Tuesdays. For bookings and inquiries, call 381-0008. The QCell 5G Gaming Hub. Not just gaming. This is the ultimate gaming experience.
Gambia, are you ready for something big?
From your trusted GSM operator, QCell, your favorite app just got a major upgrade.
From your phone to the world, buy credit, buy Sunu Bundle packages, loan credit with eFankanta, and buy Q Power all in one place.
And here's the real upgrade. QMoney is now fully integrated in the app. Send money, pay bills, save money, so faster and easier than ever.
And for our entertainment lovers, stream QTV, Q Radio Live anytime, anywhere.
But that's not all. This upgrade also brings enhanced security features, smoother performance, and a brand new interface designed to save your time.
This is more than an app.
This is freedom at your fingertips.
Download the new QCell app today and unlock your digital life.
For more information, call our customer care on 111.
QCell, Sunubus. We innovate, others follow. Terms and conditions apply.
Vocal si network bu gëna rëy gëna yombale si réewi Gambia bi fii jëfandikool call bu set internet bu gaaw li yëpp si njëg bu yomba fii si QCell dawal léegi si suñ customer care bu la gëna jege ñu may la QCell line te doo si fay dara QCell network bu gëna rëy te it gëna yombale si réew mi fii QCell suñu bas ñoo xaali yoon bi ñeneen toppa
naine dake network oto mi yalonko wole warta nyimbanko kan adung adabe soniaring wala nyama imuna fang telefono la mi yalonko abe seniaring adung internet wobe tariaring nyindung kiusel dorna sinyin nati aleno ibori yela kiusel line ota customer care mi suti atima bi kiusel network o mi warta network o beti adung adabe soniaring kiusel sunu boss ntolla nga silo walang dulia bulan noma.
These tracks have become my wall, my arena of victory and fear.
Welcome back. This is QTV This Morning. Now let's head to the last segment of this program. The TED Fund Legathon. We have Sidia Jame, Finance Director, TED Fund, and Kumbel Gode rather, Director, Infrastructure and Strategic Partnership, the TED Fund. Gentlemen and lady, welcome to QTV This Morning. It's good to have you.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, so let's start with the TED Fund. What is this all about? We'd like to know.
Yeah. So the TED Fund stands for Tertiary and Higher Education Trust Fund. That's what the TED Fund is. Okay. And we're a financing mechanism that is established by an Act of Parliament last year. And we've been set up to strengthen tertiary or state-owned tertiary and higher educational institutions across the Gambia. So what we do is, in essence, mobilize resources and reinvest it into the institutions to strengthen how they work in terms of the infrastructure, in terms of the people, in terms of the students, pretty much offer an all-rounded support where it's necessary. Yeah.
Okay. Yes, you want to come in?
Yeah, I think he has said it all. Yeah, obviously that is the TED Fund for you. It is newly established, but then we are doing great works right now. It is to strengthen the education system, the tertiary and higher education system in the Gambia, building capacities obviously, and then mobilizing for reinvesting in that.
So what? Okay, go ahead.
Let's talk about the Pledgeathon. Obviously, it's very important, and it's coming up. So tell us about the Pledgeathon. What is it about, really?
So the Pledgeathon is a national cause. So the name is a play on the word telethon, which I'm sure a lot of people know what it is.
Harry was just telling us about that. Actually.
Yes, it's a play on the word telethon, and basically what we're working on, it's a national call for companies, partners, stakeholders really in education to invest into education, to support the different projects that we have. So just to backtrack, as I mentioned, we've been set up by an Act of Parliament last year. So the team is quite within our first year. But one success that we have is that the government has allocated $50 million to the TED Fund. And of course, through the support of our board chair, Mr. Mohamed Jah, we received an additional $5 million. Yeah. So what we're doing this phase is to raise additional funds to supplement the work that we've had outlined to do this year, at least within our first year. So the approach of this Pledgeathon is we're approaching institutions, Gambians in the diaspora, really any Gambian that wants to come forward and say, you know what, education is not only a government thing, it's an all-person thing. It involves all of us. We're all stakeholders. And they're willing to come on board and commit financially in one way or another to support the work that we do. So there are 4 areas that we're investing into, and we're hoping that members of the
ask about that. You guys have 4 priority areas. So people that are pledging, do they get to choose where their fund goes?
So far, nobody has chosen. They just give the funds, and I will allocate them accordingly. But to just ensure as well that there's transparency in what we do, which is really important to us. As you can see, I'm here with our finance director. But it's really important in the work we do. We're going to ensure that every amount that's given is declared publicly, and that will be on Saturday, August 1st. It's declared publicly, everybody can hear the amount. And that way it keeps us accountable, but also ensures that the money is being donated, is being used accordingly.
I'm so glad she brought up transparency, because I was going to ask people, you know, the diaspora is part of this. So I was going to ask if you guys have any mechanisms in place where they can track where their funds are going and know that this is where it is at.
Yes, definitely. Because it's already communicated how we are going to use those funds, and then it's going to be communicated again in the program, obviously. And then we are going to have reporting mechanisms that are going to be accessible to people, you know, to be able to know how the monies have been spent. Because of transparency, we open our doors for questions or reports to be out there so that you know how the money that you have pledged, how is it being spent as well.
Okay.
So strategic partnership, I mean, how will this help at least to reach your goal in raising these funds?
Yes, so over the past few months, we've really been reaching out to companies and individuals. It's important that people understand who we are, in essence, because I know everybody doesn't just want to put their money where they don't have at least information on who they are, background information on who they are. So us approaching these institutions and just getting them to understand the work that we do and also the data that we've collected, because we are really important. We really believe that data is critical in the way that we work. The first few months when the team was set up, we spent the first few months just going into the field and getting as much data as we could to inform the areas that we are now intervening in. So it's not areas that we've made up, it's areas that have been informed by our stakeholders.
Okay. Yeah.
Yes.
So how can we donate? And who can donate? Yes.
Okay, the who can donate, I think everybody should donate, obviously, because as he rightly said, everybody should contribute to education because we all benefit from it one way or the other. You know, institutions, private sector, they all benefit from skilled and trained employees. It boosts their businesses and all that, and then it is everybody's business to donate, obviously. And then, yes. What was the question?
So I think you guys would have like a live television.
Yes.
Yes.
People who may come on and maybe make a verbal promise that, oh, I'm going to donate this amount. Do you guys have any structures put in place where you will follow up and ensure that those donations are made?
Yes, obviously, those structures are in place, and then we make it as easy as possible for whoever wants to donate, how we are going to reach those donations. Yes.
Yeah.
So what strategies are in place to make sure these projects that we want to fund are sustainable?
Yes, so let me first off share what the 4 areas are. So the first one is to provide capacity support to 10 Tibet instructors in other regions, across the regions. The second is to support 13 institutions in terms of what we call foundational institutional strengthening. So this is where we're intervening in areas that will at least help them improve the way they operate currently. We're targeting 13 of those institutions. Then we have digital infrastructure support for a few Tibet centers. Then we also have supporting 100 students in an internship and apprenticeship program. And the approach for all these 4 is intentional in how we'll be delivering it. So when you talk about how sustainable would it be, for example, the internship and apprenticeship, the reason it's being funded is because we would like to be responsible for the transport allocation and making sure that they get to their spaces safely. And also, in fact, when they get to those places, how do we ensure that they are actually learning as they walk as well? So that's quite critical in our modeling. So that way, it's not just we're sitting there the whole day and not really doing much, because we're also working directly with partners as employers, those in the industry, to absorb these students. So we not only have relationship with the students, there's also a relationship with the employers that will be absorbing them. And our internship and apprenticeship program for this phase is a pilot. We want to pilot it, learn from it, and use that evidence to inform policy decisions by our ministry, our line ministry, which is the Ministry of Higher Education, Research, Science and Technology. You
know, the last time you were here, we were talking about the National Career Fest.
Yes.
So, like, did it inform any of the decisions that you made in regards to the Pledgeathon?
Yes, actually it did. So, from the Career Fest, what we've outlined is a talent pool. Based off the data that we collected on site. And this talent pool will then inform the internship and apprenticeship as well, because now we know the areas that students are interested in terms of employment or in terms of getting partnerships. That way, when we are selecting or identifying companies, we know which industry to get into.
So, Cedia, where do you see the TED Fund in the next 5 years?
As you have asked about sustainability, which is the whole reason why we are doing all these things. You know, we want the TED Fund to be sustainable, you know, and then our operations to be sustainable, to be here for a long time. Obviously, I can confidently say that I will see TED Fund growing and then doing greater things in the next 5 years because of the structures that we are putting in place, you know, as a foundation. Just started operations in late 2025, but then there is much work that has been done, and then I think that is evident, you know, by the programs that we have undertaken already. So I see TED Fund being helping institutions to the strengthening of institutions, the capacity building of both tutors and then students, building those skills that are needed for them to be absorbed in the job force. Yeah, so I see TED Fund, growing and then doing great things, because we know what the issues are in the system, and then we are here to to fix those issues.
Yeah. So the Pledge-a-thon, let's talk about the TV program that you have in regards to it. Tell us more, expand on it, when, what's going to happen, so people can know when to keep up and how to keep up.
Yes. So it will be on Saturday, August 1st, 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. So we'll be in studio.
Wow.
Yes. We'll be in studio here at QTV, and it will also be rebroadcast or broadcast as well from GRTS. So we'll be live around that slot, 9 to 11, QTV and GRTS. And the formats that the Pledge-a-thon will be taking is we'll be in studio, sharing about the TED Fund, but also, as I mentioned, making it public, those that have donated. So if it's 10 people that have donated, we'll invite them in studio. Most of these institutions have checks, symbolic checks that they want to hand over to us. It will also be an opportunity for them to mention why are they personally investing in education. And hopefully this can get more people interested in seeing that they can come on board, and that education is not just about the TED Fund or the Ministry of MOPSI or MOHAS and so on, that it's everybody's stake.
Yeah. So let's do this final question. If you have any other thing, we can still go
I was
ahead.
just going to mention what she said is very important, because it plays into the transparency aspect that you were talking about, having it on TV and people coming in, pledging in and explaining why, and inspiring other people to join as well. So the ordinary Gambian can contribute.
Yes, so after the, so there will be a phase or a session on there where individuals can call in. I'm sure we'll have a number that will be shared.
Yes.
Individuals
I was
can
going to
call
ask
in
that. Like, you will have a number where people can call and come in.
Today?
No, like during the...
So they can call and donate. But because we've already allocated the time slot, maybe we might not be able to invite additional individuals then. But we're definitely hoping that people will call and donate whilst the program is going. As they're learning, hopefully they'll be,
So what appeal do you have for viewers? I mean, to come over and support the TED Fund.
Appeal.
Yes.
As in, what do we have for them?
Yes. What appeal do you have? I mean.
Yes.
For companies, individuals. Watching.
So one thing we have is what we've called the legacy founders. And these are individuals that without even us struggling to get them on board, they willingly came on board and offered their financing and their time. So we will be labeling them as the legacy founders. And within our office, we'll have a wall dedicated to them with their signs and their logos, calling them as legacy founders. And these founders would be there for, even after we leave office and other individuals come there. Because they're really the private sector that came on board and said, you know what, without even being prompted or struggling to come in, we saw the need and we want to invest in this way. That's one way. And of course, them coming on TV, talking about their experience in terms of education and why they're coming forward. I think it's also another opportunity for the company itself to be seen out there as a champion for education.
So outside of the TV program, will there be any engagements also behind the scene to still get funds or pledges?
Yes, of course. Outside the TV program, there will be engagements behind the scene, obviously, to follow up on those pledges that are made and then try to get those monies.
Okay.
So remind us the TV program again, the time, the day.
August 1st, Saturday, August 1st, that's this weekend, 9 to 11 p.m. on GRTS and QTV.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, thank you, gentlemen and lady, for coming on the program.
Thank you for having us.
We hope and pray everybody will come and support the TED Fund.
Definitely.
Yes.
If anybody wants to reach out now too, they can reach us on info@tedfund.gm and we'll get back to them with details on how they can support.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Ma'am Nabu, this is all we have for this week. We'll be back here again next week for another this morning. Yeah, so until then, bye-bye.